Finally, you have a reason to own a Sega Game Gear. So all you NES and Game Boy fanboys, here's an exclusive you don't have. Vampire, Master of Darkness. During the NES days, Nintendo had a special deal with third parties. It was basically an agreement that third parties would guarantee their games to be exclusive on a Nintendo console for 2 years. This would basically mean that there will be no Castlevania for the Master System or Game Gear. However, this is what Sega gets. It's Vampire, Master of Darkness. You play it as a character called Dr. Social. He's a dandy chap from London, dressed like a proper doctor in a fancy pantsuit. His character design looks very similar to the British sci-fi icon Doctor Who. Dr. Social, for no apparent reason, plays with a Ouija board, communicating with spiritual forces. He gets a strange message basically saying that dark times are ahead and Dracula has awoken. There are disturbing events occurring in London during the full moon, and meanwhile Dr. Social's associate, Miss Arkham, gets kidnapped, no doubt by Dracula. In the game, your primary and secondary weapon changes, but be warned, not all weapons are good. The game developers at times purposely locate weak weapons before a boss battle. Trust me, you want to avoid using the knife. The range is not long enough, and it does the weakest damage. My personal favourite primary weapon was the Longsword. It's long and does medium damage. Similar to Castlevania, when pressing up and attack, you get to unleash your secondary weapon, which is usually a projectile. My favourite projectile would be the stake and gun. I'm not sure why Dracula is afraid of stakes. You would think he cherishes raw meat. There are monsters in this game that are very similar to Castlevania. Example, instead of Medusa heads, we now have floating ladies. Bats remain the same, but sometimes the pattern is so random. Oh my god, the pattern is so random. We have knights who rush at you as soon as they see you. One of the monsters reminded me of Pyramid Head from Silent Hill, throwing knives with his projectiles. I thought that was pretty cool. The graphics are nice. This is what some may call great pixel art. The game looks ridiculously like Castlevania down to similar textures. This is also apparent in level layouts, even the same exact stairs. Similar to Castlevania, you could obtain new weapons, but instead of whipping candles, we now smack doll faces. You have to take a hit to get by, similar to Mega Man and my personal life. The music for the game is nothing special. The best music scores in the game would be the first and final stage. The final stage is tough. I was dying a few times. It's a bit ironic, but when you're fighting Dracula there are stakes coming from the ground. I lost count how many times I was dying. And every time I died, I had to restart to the beginning of the stage. Dracula doesn't piss around. Like all epic battles, he respawns. Again, the game is so random with its pattern, you'll be dying purely because there is no pattern to Dracula's attack. When Dracula respawns into a bigger version of himself, I guess, his attack pattern still remains random. If you want to beat this game, you'll just have to make sure that you get pretty damn good at dodging. As if you were dodging the rain. Like all my reviews, I completed this game. All I can say is Master of Darkness is a polished platformer which has that 8-bit Game Gear magic. The game lasts about 2 to 3 hours, so make sure you have plenty of AA batteries handy. If not, plug in an AC adapter. For any Game Gear owner, heck, make that any gamer, I would say pick up this game. It has elements that make a good game, a challenge without being cheap, good music, sharp controls. The game clearly isn't trying to do anything innovative or exciting, providing an alternative of Castlevania for Game Gear owners. In my books, that's a good thing. I love retro Castlevania, and this game mimics our beloved franchise well.